Hello, beautiful beings. Ancients, what should we start with? Oh, yeah. Okay, so they woke me up in the middle of the night last night with this. Literally, I, in my sleep, I thought I was awake, and all of a sudden, I was waking up as I was sitting up and reaching for the lamp so I could, because I get in a panic sometimes because I have this beside my bed. My oldest daughter gave it to me recently, and I'm about halfway through it already, journaling, mainly in the middle of the night. So they woke me up in the middle of the night with this. Addiction. One gets a chance to get out of addiction. The chance passes and it's back in the tumbler to get smoothed out more. Things will continue to get worse once an addiction's usefulness is over and one insists on hanging on to it. Get off of the ride. More years will go by in an instant, and it will not get easier to quit, only harder. That's a beautiful message. It's absolutely true. None of it, none of your suffering is a waste, really. Other people will learn from it, but it's best if you learn from it, and stop suffering, right? And the only way for me that I have ever found to stop suffering is to stop identifying with the personal identity, the useless personal identity, and to face my fears. The reason that I have the addiction in the first place, the drinking or the drug, it's a habit and our bodies are addicted to it. However, that's not why we're doing it. It may seem that way. A person forgets why they're not even really, they're saying, if we were conscious about why we started drinking to like self-medicate, we probably wouldn't have started self-medicating. However, just, like they said in AA, drinking is only a symptom. It's absolutely true. So the real cause of any addiction is being cut off from who we really are, believing things that aren't true. It's too painful. We're divine beings. It's incredibly painful to believe anything other than that. So one thing that I've been noticing that I've been going through lately is, since I got my 30-day notice, is zero fear. Absolutely zero. Absolutely incredible. Through this last, in May, it will be 7 years since I woke up with Muji. And so in this last process, this last, several years, things just keep coming back around to be shed more and more and more and more. And I see it plainly now. And, so I'm in love with these two dogs. One is kind of mine, Daisy, a little white heeler, and then there's Molly. She's a border collie, I believe. She's black and white, kind of a little neurotic, the most like affectionate, almost human-like. She's so affectionate. Molly is very, very sensitive. She reminds me a lot of myself. So if anybody's saying, oh, she's crying again, yep, yes, yep. For the next 50 years, I will be crying. I've accepted it. And if you can't and it annoys you, please don't watch. So I've been going through this grieving process because even though I don't know exactly how it's going to look when I get to officially part ways from the alcoholic roommate, I still need to let go of these dogs. I've let go of a lot of dogs for different reasons, and I have been just as in love with every single dog. It's never been easier. Ever, like, no matter what the situation, whether they've died or if I have to give them away, or, well, those are the only two. Yeah, there's running away, but I have never lost a dog to running away. Anyway, so I've noticed that I've been going through the grieving process. And that doesn't mean that I know I won't end up with them for sure. Of course, that would be, in my book, that would be an absolute miracle. If I ended up with these dogs. It would be, well, there's just no better than that for me. Like, it'd be a miracle. However, they're reminding me of a story that Muji has told for so long, and that is, this king, he loves to tell king stories. This king had an assistant, well, more than an assistant, like an oracle. And something bad would happen, and the king would be like, well, why did that happen? And he'd be like, it is good, my lord. No matter what happened, it is good, my lord. And in the big picture, everything that's happening, I know it's hard to say that. I've seen people asking me, well, what about this? And I'll be like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not claiming that I will, an answer to everything will come through. Because, no. So anyway, so it is good, my lord. So, if when the time comes that it is time for me to leave here, and, it hasn't happened to where I'm going to have them, I will have went through the letting go. That's what the grieving process is. It's the letting go process. And not that I won't continue to love them, but it won't hurt. That's the attachment. That's, they want me to, I just resist it because I resist saying what they want me to say sometimes because it sounds, well, if from the person, yeah, from the personal, if the person was saying it, it would sound like ego, but it's them saying it. They say that, that's the Brahmin. The Brahmin is, has practice to where we can, let go of personal attachments with still being able to love, but the love doesn't hurt. And I know I just said that, but I'm still really learning this too. The fact that not actually learning it because that's what the shedding process has been, but I'm actually really realizing that it's just second nature now. I'm actually watching myself. I used to have to practice the grieving process. I didn't know what it was. So I learned that and practiced it through breakups, through whatever type of love hurt, or whatever it is that I see that I need to let go of that causes pain to let go of it. There's a grieving process that is to be done, and it's beautiful. And I think I said in one video that I don't know who they are, but they added longing to the grieving process, and that's so, so true. But that's just more thinking that can be shed. Yes, it's difficult, but it's not impossible, and it leads to freedom. So I have zero fear. I have absolutely zero fear of this move. Not knowing where I'm going, I don't have a clue. None. I'm not frantic. It's like two crows. Crows are smaller than ravens. That's how I know they're crows. Two. You know, it's just because situations have come around through this shed that have presented the fear of, being homeless. What is that fear? Like is that a universal fear? I guess it is. They're comparing it. There are some like collective fears, and they're showing me social speaking. They're showing me bridges. Yeah. So, feel like I forgot what I was saying. Like to begin with, you know. Fear, yes, right. Yes, the situation. Because, you know, not right away, but a couple years after I woke up with Muji, and I'm not saying this to scare you, you know, not, it's, you're not necessarily going to, you know, your path isn't going to look the same as mine. I did end up in a tent from April 1st until July 28th, and it was exactly what I needed. To shed as much as possible, the most quickly, and also, you know, I didn't do that intentionally. It's just because I was shedding so much of the unnecessary conditioning, the personal identity, that I literally couldn't function. I could barely function doing any regular type of anything. You know, and so thank goodness the people that let me camp on their land also gave me a job cleaning rooms. So, you know, I guess I had to face it because, well, there was just something in me, well, me, myself, my true self knew that I had to um, face not having a regular home for some reason. I had to face that fear and know that I could overcome it. I didn't realize that that was something in me that was just in there. Oh, it's a, yeah, right. They're reminding me that's how it started out talking about it. It's a collective conscious kind of fear, a fear of being homeless. You know, because it can be, there's an anxiety that comes with being homeless that, you know, man, it's rough. It just permeated my whole body when it was happening. And so I've talked to all three of my daughters about it, because I mean right away, you know, I could Beauty, my middle daughter, I could feel her right after I posted that video. The next day I felt like she had watched it, and she knew, you know, that I got my 30-day notice. And so I messaged her, and yes, she did. And um you know, we spoke briefly, but then I just felt I was cleaning this house, that house, the last Wednesday house, the house that I was so upset about cleaning. I cleaned it with my boss, and I literally snuck into the bathroom because I couldn't shake Beauty. She was so up for me, and and I couldn't get a hold of her, but I left her a message, and then we spoke later, and I said, I just feel like you're worried about me. And you know, and yes, she was worried about me, but she was just like so touched because, and this is amazing what comes out of things like this. You know, she talked to her husband about it because he's her best friend, and uh he said, well, you know, if it comes down to the wire and she doesn't have anywhere to go, she can sleep in Lisa's room that we all just built for her. I didn't build it, but I helped, you know, texturize it, and you know, Beauty painted it, and it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. When she sent me the finished picture of Lisa's bedroom, I thought it was the picture out of the magazine. So amazing. Anyway, so he said that I could stay in there. And that just made her feel so loved. It made me feel super loved too. But she told him, she said, I think my mom would rather sleep in her car than live with us. And I said, that is so sweet, but I would rather sleep in my car than live with you guys. And she started laughing, and I started laughing, and I was just like, no offense. And she was just like, no, I told him as much. And he was just like, why? And she's, you know, we get it. It's, you know, family really, it just really should be an emergency before family, you know, lives with each other again after, you know, you went your own ways. Uh, and yeah, they're showing me that it actually has been an absolute emergency a couple times in my life. And, you know, not just for me, but in the place that I landed. It was mutual. It didn't feel like that at the time. I felt like a complete burden. I wanted to say the F word just then. This shedding process, I mean, it's just just agonizing at times, absolutely agonizing. You know, that's why I want to be open to you. If, you know, you're going through this ascension process and this shedding process, it can feel absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But you're not insane. The insane is leaving. It really is. And then it's like now, you know, I took you with me on my last shed, and that just did so much for me. Thank you so much. You know, it's amazing. I swear. Well, I know for a fact my girls are watching when my videos post, and there's just something about they said words can point to how I'm feeling, but they will never ultimately, justify the gratitude that I have, that just had no idea that I would get to share this experience with anybody. I mean, I have my girls. I don't need to explain it. It's either saying that the way I'm feeling right now, there's just no way that I'll be able to justify it with words. But thank you. Thank you so much. So what's really coming in right now is, let me see where I'm at with my time. I don't want to go over on time. I think I got my storage thing figured out on my phone, but anyway, so I still don't know if my twin watches these videos, but I have felt him turn toward me, and I just, of course it's not a personal thing at all, because I'm fine on my own. I'm great. I'm more than fine on my own. I adore it. However, with my twin, I have felt him turn toward me for a little while now, and not feeling any resistance from him. The resistance actually that I felt from him was making me sick until I learned, how to release it in myself. And I can't just explain that right now, but it is possible. And if it's possible to release the resistance that I felt from my twin, and in myself also wanting to be with him and wanting it to be different, I've released that. Grace has been pruning me, and it's co-creating at its finest. I'm hearing Esther Hicks say right now, and I feel him turn toward me, and just the sunlight of his just non-resistant acknowledgement of our connection is, I swear, it's just feeding more life into me, really. And okay, so yes, I wrote him something. It's a new moon today too. That isn't that beautiful. And so last night, they gave me the message about addiction, and also night 12420. I just love writing 20. Letting go to get a better grip. Yes, that is the great description of the shedding process. Letting go to get a better grip. I heard that once in AA. So I wrote him a note, and last night, and I haven't read it since last night. Hello, Danji, Danji. The Ji represents a certain level of mastery over the identification with the psychological mind. We are going to have so much fun. Yeah, I can feel that you have acknowledged our divine connection. Usually when worrying about anything, it is a back and forth movement. Back and forth from what to what? Oh, yes, I forgot about that. So, right, okay, so have you noticed that when you're worrying about something, it's this back and forth, it's this trying to make a decision, trying to figure it out. It is this back and forth motion. It seems like this ping pong in the mind. Well, there's also this, and it takes a lot of practice, and this is really, this is super rare. This is really where Eckhart Tolle comes in. And yes, Esther Hicks, channeling Abraham Hicks also, in a way, for sure. But Eckhart Tolle, my identification with my mind was so severe that I didn't realize that I was silence, pure undiluted silence. And Eckhart kept showing me, yes, I woke up with Muji, but I feel like that Eckhart was my doula, my spirit doula, my being doula, others also, but Eckhart he's had this way for so many, 13 years now of helping me hear the silence in a way that I couldn't hear it before, helping me access myself. So the ping pong, if you're ping ponging, that is mind activity. That is identifying with mind activity. Diving into silence is the only place when that insanity is happening that the answers will come. And I know that well, I'm screwed then. Well, yeah, if a person keeps on the hamster wheel that is the mind, yes, things will get worse. However, it's not hopeless because that's not who we are. So, dive, dive, dive. And if you're stuck on something, if you feel stuck, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me. I just feel I'm so excited and I followed it all the way through. I'm not afraid of car camping. It's not legal in Montana, but you know what? I really don't feel like it's going to come to that. But I'm not worried and I'm not going to worry. But if I do, I'll let you know. I love you so much. Slotsongwithmamag at gmail.com is my email if you would like to email me.